Hi Steve, how does it feel to finally be getting the rugby underway? A lot of talking, a lot of build-up, and a great deal of uncertainty in the last few months as well. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty excited. Can't wait to see the team go and how they play on Saturday. It's been awesome to have a camp and get together. And like you said, there's been a lot of talk and to and fro in around it, but it's great to get to Murrayfield to play Japan and get some crowd in as well. Fantastic occasion.
Or is there a stage where you thought this might not happen, you might not get to this point?
Oh, look, you see the to and fro in and around how COVID's been going along, and you're just always hopeful that things like this will go ahead because it's it's part of history. It's a huge part of sport, and it does give people, I think, that entertainment and taking yourself away from the negativity about certain things. So yeah, it's been great to get it underway.
And an opportunity to play in front of 16,500 fans, the only opportunity on this tour. How important is that, and how exciting is that?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think the players are really pumped. We had a slight crowd in Jersey watching us train, and the noise that created with probably 1,600 people was amazing. So I can only imagine now getting back to 16, 17,000 in Murrayfield is going to be pretty special tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's important is it to give those fans some entertainment, something to cheer about, and a spectacle against winning the first game and getting off to a winning start and building that momentum.
Yeah, I think it does. It gives everyone that entertainment, and hopefully we can provide a performance fitting of that. And I know the boys are really excited to put on a performance as well. We know Japan are a fantastic team, so I think both teams want to play rugby, so it'll be a good event.
And finally, for me, is it an early opportunity as well for some players to impress you and put a hand up for the test selection even at this early stage?
Oh, look, I think whenever you're wearing that Lions test shirt, this is something that you've got to put your hand up and put a performance in. But you see the qualities within training. I think the standard of training, both sides have been outstanding. So you see the qualities, and it's just exciting for those boys to get the first shot against Japan.
Sorry, one more. Can I just ask you about the outbreak today in the Scotland A camp? 9 players unavailable after a case of COVID. Just is that a timely reminder? Just how delicate a situation this is.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a timely reminder, and I think that's where when we're within these bubbles, you obviously got to look after yourself because you know you can be pretty unlucky pretty quickly. And I think if one person gets it, and then it knocks out the contacts pretty quickly. So yeah, it is a very timely reminder of how it works because it can creep in quite easily.
Thank you.
Can I just say, first and foremost, Steve, how is everyone, bumps and bruises wise? Everyone who was named in the team as it became, everyone's still okay?
Yeah, everyone's still okay. Everyone's coming through. Team run, everyone's pretty excited, moving around really well. And yeah, there's just that real excitement now to come tomorrow. I think the boys can't wait for it to come quick enough.
What was it like doing a team run earlier at a stadium that you all know so well and sort of as a group together again? Did that sort of feel? Did it sort of feel strange to actually be in a big environment as a unit?
Yeah, I suppose for me, we've been there a few times with Scotland, so yeah, it's probably getting back home in a way. But yeah, it's great for everyone to get around that stadium. It's been brilliant in Jersey, but now I think being around a stadium like Murrayfield, that Test match, you can tell it's getting closer. You can feel that vibe building and the excitement and probably a little bit of nerves ready for tomorrow.
There's already people in Edinburgh I've seen walking around this morning with red shirts on. It's clear what the Lions means to people, doesn't it? It's already got the enthusiasm. There were people on the plane coming up yesterday. It's clear that, there's a few years ago, people were talking about maybe the Lions was dying out, maybe it was an anachronism, but that seems to be well and truly put to bed now, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I think 100%. I think what it means to support us, but for me as a coach, I know what it means to me to represent the Lions. And I was fortunate enough to speak to a lot of the players before the camp in Jersey, and speaking to those players, a lot of them were saying it was one of the best experiences of their lives being part of the Lions. And I think for players, coaches, staff, and supporters, I think it means the same thing. It's just a huge part of sport, and again, we're fortunate enough we get to represent the Lions on Saturday, which is unbelievable.
Thanks, Steve.
No problem.
Hello, Steve. Sarah Bush
Hello.
here from Radio 5 Live. Good to
And you.
I was just wondering, what's been different about your Alliance experience that perhaps you weren't expecting to happen? Anything along the way that perhaps all the hype that maybe it's been better than you thought? Anything unexpected?
Oh, it's been nothing unexpected. I think it's definitely. I probably couldn't imagine what it was like until you get into the environment. You always, from the outside, you realise how big the Lions is. But I think until you set foot, then you see the enormity of what the Lions not only means to me as a person, the players and the supporters. And I think the 2 weeks we've been here has gone like a day. You get so immersed in what it is. You get like you're learning all the time. It's great to connect with the players. So it's been everything and more you'd expect.
It's such a big weekend for rugby union across the UK. Can you just give us any kind of inclination or details about the contact you've had with the 4 Exeter players who are involved in the Premiership final tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't think that, like, I know Gats maybe connecting with them a little bit, but I think it was important to leave them alone from my end, just around concentrating our team, but also they've got a big game to prepare for, so you don't want to be sort of confusing or taking their attention of what's really important for them at the time. But I'm sure that they will be up to speed pretty quickly when they come in. You see the Saris guys, Kyle and Tom coming in. These guys are unbelievable players, and they pick up on the messages really quickly.
Was there any surprise or reaction from you as a Lions group that Stuart Hogg isn't starting for Exeter tomorrow?
Oh, look, we know how good Hoggy is, and the form he was is in. And you look at the squad Exeter have got, is like someone like Jack Nowell is a heck of a player, and Rob Baxter sees the ins and out of it. Obviously, for me, I know Hoggy and I know what he is, so obviously it's a little bit surprising and around him not being in that environment. But I don't think it's sort of my place to comment on selection for Exeter, because Rob Baxter knows his players ins and outs, and he knows what it takes to win competition. So that's up to the Exeter boys.
And just lastly from me, can you just give us a little bit of a taste? It might be a little bit boring, but just when it comes to like the COVID testing and everything you've got to do, not just for the game against Japan, but just to get on the plane to South Africa, how much are you guys going through process-wise? How many tests, etc., ahead of flying this weekend?
Yeah, plenty. We get up at 8 o'clock this morning. We get a lateral flow. You mask wearing constantly. Like, we can't really go out and well, the boys can't see their families through this window, so it's tough for the players. But ultimately, you represent the Lions, so I think that's what it is. And then I think the players and staff feel very lucky to be able to do what we're going to do in South Africa, and hopefully provide some form of, probably taken away from everything that goes on elsewhere. We give some people some entertainment and hopefully take their mind off maybe the issues they're going through.
Thanks, Steve.
No problem.
Steve, given the tempo that Japan like to play at, the way they like to move the ball around, what's the key to shutting them down defensively?
Well, I think we've got to be connected. I think at the end of the day we have to buy into what we've done, which the boys have been fantastic at. And I think you give every credit to the way Japan play. They mix up, there's lots of variety in the play, the speed, but I think a lot of the game will hopefully come down to our tempo and how we want to play and how we want to defend and attack. So I think a lot of it will be down to what we want to achieve on Saturday.
Drew, how important is it to launch the tour with a win?
Oh, look, I think everyone wants to get off to a win. I think we were looking after performance as well, bedding boys in, 2 weeks of training, a couple of boys have been here a week. So, yeah, we are focusing on performance. And I think if we perform to the standards that we've been training the way we are, then hopefully the outcome will look after itself.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Hi, Steve. How are things?
Very good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, thanks. Just wondering, in terms of that system that you're going to look to implement, how important is Bundy Aki to that? Like, he's a huge energy giver to Connacht in Ireland. Has he been the same with the Lions setup? Oh,
he's been outstanding. He's been great. And I know it sounds probably, I've got to say it, but every player's come in. They've been fantastic to work with. It's been a real pleasure for me to see how quickly boys take up messages, how fast they move. The absolute quality within the squad, but Bundy's been excellent, and you see him and Robbie Henshaw walking around hand in hand together a lot of the time, so they're pretty connected as well, and you see those boys getting ready to play in the weekend, and just really excited to see him go.
Dan Bigger was saying that he put in a big hit last week week in one of the first sessions. Is that the kind of thing that you're looking to see from the lads in training?
Yeah, look, I think that we had a little bit of live, and you could see there was no quarter given. Everyone's going for it. Bundy, obviously, that's a real strength of his. But I think also with Bundy, his foot movement is actually reading a plays as well is absolute quality. But in fairness, I think everyone who's come in, the quality of the physical contact and things in training, we haven't had obscene amounts of it, but you can see the mindset is really positive.
Cheers, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for doing this.
No problem.
It's such an honor for Japan to play the Lions this time. So could you give us some impression about what kind of team Japan is to you? And are there any certain players that you guys are watching carefully? Thank you.
I think Japan as a whole have lots of quality across the game. I think what they did in the World Cup was absolutely fantastic. I think what it did for the tournament, the variety they played, and obviously beating Ireland and Scotland was a massive achievement. And then playing against South Africa, so you know the quality right across the board. And I think they have got threats right across the park. I think the intensity and like I said earlier, the variety they play, and I know they will cause us problems defensively tomorrow, but it's going to be a huge test for us.
Hi Steve, how you going? Could I just ask you about Ty Furlong? Obviously, he's been to the team at a late stage. How much of an adoption is that? And also, what's he been like to work with? He's experienced when it comes to Lions.
Yeah, look, I think when you get to the Lions, he was with Zander missing out. Like obviously disappointed with Zander, but then you got someone like Tig, and then Kyle coming in. The quality is there to be seen. It's been awesome to work with Tig, and like I said earlier in the comment, it's been unbelievable to work with all these players. I think they're all like really good blokes, and like I said, they're all keen to share and chat. But Tig is really impressive as a Tig the prop, obviously scrummaging, which I don't know a lot about. But again, in around the park for a big man, he moves really well, understands the game, and like it's been really good to chat with him in around how he sees defence and things. So yeah, it's just been a real pleasure to work with.
Great stuff. Go out. Thank you.
Thank you, and you.